Yeah, this is Ernest with Zero Time in Crystal City, Texas. So today we got a Paccar PX9, and it's got some issues. It's got a high crankcase pressure problem. It's got low oil pressure problem. It's got an engine knock, which would be a fuel knock, and it's got a exhaust pressure sensor problem. So, but let me show you. So this truck was originally sent out somewhere else to have these very same repairs made, none of which got fixed. Ended up with a big mess. I did this because I was taking a capture, so that's why this is like that. But we got the harness not where it needs to be, so stressing out the injector number 1 harness. We got oil in the connectors. We got missing bolts. I don't know if you can see them. We got some missing bolts up there. Got loose bolts. Air cleaners all loose. Fan shroud. We got a belt. It's all jacked up. We've got the hood. I mean, it got all their oil and stuff on it. We got a leaking fuel at the back of the head that's draining off the back of the head down the side of the block. We got missing bolts at the air cleaner on this side. It's just a mess. So anyway, those are the mechanics for you. Ain't got no pride in what they do, just taking money, so whatever. Anyway, so I connect the Cummins Insight. We'll start with the fuel knock or the engine knock first. So with the Cummins Insight, you can kind of narrow it down. We got down to number 4. Doing cylinder cutout tests. So it's in cylinder 4 is where my problem is. That's where the original problem was at. We did a fuel leakage test and it was holding. So, I mean, I kind of feel like it's on the return side, you know, the way it was installed. Seals missing, what have you. So, but anyway, an engine fuel knock. Well, what that is we got combustion going on when it's not supposed to be happening. Normally it's on the as the piston's coming up, there's a combustion just before top dead center before it's supposed to, so that's where the rattlings come from. But it can happen on the downside. But what it comes down to is we have combustion. That's the reason for it. So the cause is that we got excessive fuel in the cylinder, so it's creating that combustion when it's not supposed to. And we could also possibly have we have a leaking injector, you know, dirty, clogged, or whatever that's causing that problem. We can have weak compression that's causing that problem. So we're down to cylinder 4. We did a fuel leakage test and it was holding, but that still doesn't tell me that it is the injector or even the way that it was installed. We still don't know at this point. We could have weak compression. So my first test that I did was an RC test, and I'll show you that. So there's my RC test. In blue is the relative compression for each cylinder. I don't have it synced. I'm not worried about it. If I saw one that was like abnormal, well then I would sync it to find out, to see what cylinder it is. But they're all pretty even. So a cylinder compression problem right now I'm not interested in. In the red is the compressor. That's the crankcase pressure. So because it's not synced, you see there's 2 humps. You know, the cylinders are marked, you know, right here in the back. Right here, those are the cylinders. Let's just assume 1, 5, 3, 6, 2, 4. But see, like I said, I don't have a reference, so I don't know that for sure, but that's besides the point. This red is my compressor. So, and it's pretty high, and this is just cranking. This is not running. So, that's where his high crankcase pressure is coming from. And if we put that with, he's got fuel in the oil, so it's a combination of the two. So the compressor is going to take care of the problem. Changing out the oil and filters will take care of that. So we'll do away with the high crankcase pressure. But that's what that is. So the next test I took was a knock sensor. I put a knock sensor on this truck so that I could actually hear the knock or see the knock. And this one is reference. So we are synced to injector number 1. Injector number 1, 1, 5, 3, 6, 2, 4. And right here, you see the knock, right? But here's the deal. We actually have some right here, right? Not as much, obviously, but he still does have an engine knock going on in here. So that would be a 1, 5, 3. So 3 it's got a knock, and 5 has got a knock. So it's 5 and 3, just not as bad as 4, okay? So we'd probably want to see something a little more like that. So that could be caused due to, dirty clogged injectors. Well, I'll show you something else. So this is my intake waveform, right? And here we're just what I'm interested in is valve timing, valve timing. Maybe he just didn't adjust the valves correctly, because on this particular engine the timing marks are a little bit hard to see. So maybe he didn't. So what we did was took a capture of the intake, and this is my vacuum pulls for each cylinder, right? So because they're pretty much in the center, all of them, I've marked them, but they're in the center. So he's okay on his valve timing. And then I measured him, and on valve lash, he's pretty close. He's a little bit loose, but he's pretty close. That's not my issue. But if we go back to 5 and 3, so this is 1. I'm sorry. We're going to start right here. Okay, with this one. This would be intake 1, 5, 3, 6, 2, 4. So if we look at our cam lobes, we're worn, we're down on 5 and 3, and 6 and 2 and 4, obviously. So those worn cam lobes with dirty injectors or what have you, that's going to cause some of that fuel knock. All right. Let me show you the knock sensor. Okay, right there, right here, I installed the knock sensor. We had Benny install the knock sensor, so and then we just tapped into it, and then we can. That's in my ears, so I can listen to the engine. So that's the knock sensor, and that's the form that you saw. This one right here is my high rail fuel pressure rail sensor. I'm at the sensor. So this is the injectors. So all that looks pretty good. Again, in Cummins Insight, we didn't see a leakage on the leakage test. It was testing the high pressure, and this confirms it. If I saw a leakage, I might see a bigger dip in pressure. Or if I had an injector that was sticking closed, I might not see anything at all. But since these are all pretty even, I don't have a problem on my pressure side. So we'll start working on tearing this thing down so we can get to the valve cover, get to the injectors, and then we're going to inspect the injectors. I'm pretty sure that it was the way it was installed. The odds are, that seal at the bottom, he forgot to put it in, or he's got it double sealed, or he pinched the seal putting it in, or he just didn't torque it down right. But my problem's on the fuel return side, on the low pressure side, and so that's where we're getting our fuel knock from, and our fuel into the oil. So once we get this tear down and we inspect it, we'll show you what we found.